Hello, Herlaters. It's Erin Foley back in the booth talking women's sports. I'm joined today with Molly O'Rourke. She is top of the morning
Top of the morning.
as the hat reveals. Big time Notre Dame women's basketball fan, and
That's
we'll
right.
jump into that. She is a TV producer, she is a writer, she's the funniest non-stand-up comedian I know. So happy to have you on the big show. Hit it, Molly.
I'm so happy to be here. I am also happy to be one of your non-stand-up comedian friends. You just roll with like elite athletes and stand-up comedians, and somehow I wedged in.
You are a national treasure. I love our relationship is texting nonstop about about women's sports and
It's really
joking around all
strong.
the time. Yes. So let's jump into NCAA women's basketball, a topic we're both obsessed about. Little little shakeup, which I
Light.
absolutely love. Um, Texas takes number one, UCLA number two. Notre Dame 3, USC 4, UConn 5. Two of my favorite teams of all time in the top five, UConn and UCLA. You are a diehard Notre Dame fan, and you had to
Die hard.
suffer through the NC State loss. My double overtime. I mean, the game was phenomenal.
It was insane.
Yeah,
I, I I had to watch a replay. I knew the outcome and sat on the edge of my seat,
yeah,
regardless.
yeah,
It was such a good game. I'm a little crushed, but it's okay because
yeah,
I feel like sometimes your head can get too big.
yeah,
It's like even I was carried away with how good this team is.
yeah.
And it was a little humbling, but it's okay. It's
I
okay.
mean, that's how I felt about specifically the UCLA loss to USC. I mean, I hated it because it was like bitter crosstown rivals, and I'm full camp UCLA, although obviously I love the USC coach, Juju Watkins, obviously dream sequence. So it's not like a rivalry for me, from birth because I'm an East Coaster, but I've just adopted UCLA out here. And all the pressure of going undefeated and they haven't lost. And it's that
Yeah.
thing where like it's a good loss. I'm okay with that loss. It has shooken their confidence though, I have to say.
Yes.
But Notre Dame, that backcourt, hands down, is one of the best all-time backcourts of all time.
Listen, I just got recently diagnosed with glasses, which I was so vehemently against. But then I thought if Olivia Miles can pull off repeated triple doubles with glasses, I can wear glasses to watch television.
Yes, I mean, some superheroes don't wear capes. They wear
But
glasses.
they wear glasses. Well, Clark Kent, I don't know if that still counts.
No, of
But
course it's
yes,
yeah.
back to the backcourt. Back to the backcourt.
Yeah.
They're incredible. They're incredible. Their communication is amazing. I mean, Hannah Hidalgo has an intensity unlike anybody else playing the game right now.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm 4'11". In my opinion, we're the same height. I know she's not, but like the power that is packed into that little body is so fun to watch.
Yeah. There've been like a highlight reel. And what I liked about the NC State game, and we'll talk women's basketball on like kind of a little bit of a larger scale, but Citron took over. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like she obviously, I'm not even talking about the shot that gets it into overtime. Listeners, watchers, if you didn't see the game, it was basically a Hail Mary three that Citron puts in to tie NC State. And then you think, oh, well, Notre Dame's going to steamroll now,
yeah.
And to NC State's credits, there's like three or four teams where I know I'm jumping all over the place where we'll get to who I do not want to play in March Madness. NC State is one of them, but we'll get to that. But then Citron, like Hidalgo and Miles, they're fouling out. They just kind of look like they petered out. And Citron literally carried them that first overtime. I mean, she's so good.
She's a silent killer. She's a
Yeah.
robot of a human being. Like the
Yes.
team teases her that she's like emotionless.
Yeah.
But that's what you need when you've got the passion of Hannah and like the smarts of Miles. You need somebody that's just like that. I'm just here to just like the
Give
Terminator.
me the
Just,
ball. Yeah.
just unbelievable.
Yeah. And I thought at the same point in time, NC State just I think the home court really obviously helped them, but They did not fall. I mean, you would think after that 3-pointer and then the tie going into the second over,
Yeah.
the first overtime, that they were just going to fold. I think everyone thought they were going to fold, and they
There
did
was an
not.
energy. There was an energy in the building. And I personally was offended when Sonia threw one up. It was an air ball, and they started chanting air ball. And it was the first time ever in my like lifetime of loving sports where I was like, well, that's just rude. Don't chant air ball to her.
Very protective mama.
Yeah, but then I was like, well, I would chant airball if it were them. So it's making me just reevaluate how I watch a game as a fan.
Yeah. It was fun. It was really fun. In the entire time, of course, I'm rooting for. I mean, I honestly, I love the players of Notre Dame, and I love Coach Ivy. We've seen her on the court and coach. She's just Notre Dame. There's anyone more Notre Dame than Coach Ivy? I mean, I really don't know. Obviously, Muffet
No,
McGraw, but Muffet also didn't play for Notre Dame.
no, but Ivy played when I was there.
Yeah,
And I mean, what a treat to get to watch what she's turned into. Like
yeah.
yeah, she embodies the university in such a wonderful way. Incredible coach. We're lucky to have her.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like obviously a fan. It's just I also think like, the Kara Lawson, all those years I watched her play at University of Tennessee and then in WNBA. Never liked her because she'd always beat UConn like practically single-handedly. And now I'm like the biggest Kara Lawson fan. As
Yeah.
how I got to love her was through her broadcasting. I was like, oh, what an interesting, fantastic woman. And I'm like, God, I just hated her on the court. But that's how I feel about Ivy. Like, I'm not, Notre Dame's not my team, but what a story. And
She's
like
hard
she
to hate.
uh,
She's a class act.
impossible class
Yeah.
act. And she just like when Citron puts Citron's sort of like the unsung hero of that team. When Citron, put bangs in the three, coach goes over and she's like, I love you, I love you, I love you. Like it was a really sweet moment.
Yeah.
But the turner, I mean the flip-flopping Texas, who's sort of been on the back burner, as just as far as PR of UCLA and USC and Notre Dame and UConn, Texas is just slowly. I've seen Texas play great, and I've seen Texas play like a bag of trash. So I feel like they're finally coming together, but they're scary. Number one team, first time in 21 years, for Texas women's basketball. Of course, they get Vic Schaefer and a Mississippi State. So I remember those teams because they went up against Notre Dame. What was that, like 2016, 2017? But
Nerd alert.
I know,
You
I know. I can't. I have too much information in my head. But here is the nerdy interesting thing too, because I just watch mostly UCLA. Like I watch primarily, a lot of Big Ten now because
yeah.
of UCLA. And I always think, when they were on their tear and looking so good, I'm like, who's gonna, I'm always like, it's gonna be the backcourt verse of Notre Dame versus Lauren Betts. But when you look at Texas, Madison Booker, Rory Harmon, two all-stars, but then you've got Oldacre 6'6", Taylor Jones 6'4". They are a matchup nightmare. If they're playing well, they could take it all.
Those are two people I don't want standing in front of me at a concert. Like, the height is terrifying. It is terrifying because you're pulling it all down from the boards. And like Texas in general is just whatever bracket prep I had going into like we're at the end
Yeah.
of February. It's
Yeah.
time to get serious. It's time to start really paying attention to the shakeup, and all my prep is gone. I was like, well,
Yeah.
everything I believed in is has been shaken.
I just have to say, shout out to University of Texas. I always say at Austin. UT, number one softball team right now,
Yeah.
even though they just lost yesterday. But volleyball team won it all 3 years ago. I mean, just like a powerhouse for women's sports. I
But
love that.
I'll tell you why. There isn't anything to do in Texas. So
True.
get real good at softball.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a yard. It's 6 acres wide. This is where sports is
Yeah.
being bred.
You got to lean into women's sports and barbecue. Um, okay, I know we have to keep this moving because we've got 4 or 5 other bullet points, and this I promise, Molly, this is not going to be an hour and a half. But I have to say a couple quick stories to keep our eyeballs on. UConn's starting to gel. Big win over South Carolina. AZ Fudd has found her shot and is just 20 points or more the last couple of games. Um, I'm springing this question out on you, but as I'm looking at the top 20 teams, is there a team that you go, oh, I don't want to play? I don't, if I've got my first top five, do I not want to play X team?
I mean, as an Irish fan, I never want to play UConn. I just never want to play UConn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that said, I don't know. I don't like Notre Dame took down USC, but I don't think that's not the end all be all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Teams
know.
peaking. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on pins and needles for a lot of stuff because right now we're being shown that anything can happen.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think this is what we were saying. We were texting before. Like, this is going to be the ultimate madness of March Madness because you can
Yeah.
look at, I would say, stretch. Listen, any team can win. We just saw NC State, which is now 9, but I think there were like 13 or 14 before that Notre Dame game. I don't realistically, like, I wouldn't bet on, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10, and up winning the whole thing, but I do absolutely will predict that one of those teams is going to take down these top four. I mean,
Yes,
I see it.
they're
Yeah.
putting the madness in March Madness.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. I
but
still, yeah.
if I may ask, who's your Cinderella team? Who's gonna sweep in that nobody's paying attention to right now?
Well, the team that kind of stands out, and again, I'm watching a lot of Big Ten.
Yeah.
They're not winning, but they're getting so close and could really be a little bit. I just say of like maybe of a home wrecker in the round of 32 or 16 is Iowa.
Ah,
I mean, they had that huge win. Who did they beat? Why am I blanking? Like they USC. They
oh,
beat USC like 2 weeks ago. Now the last three games they've lost, but they've lost by a point, two
yeah.
points. And I think they're not at that level. They're not even in the top 20, but I'm telling you, they're gonna I feel like if one team could pick someone off, Duke, all of a sudden Maryland's 20, but they're still dangerous. Ohio State. I
Ugh.
mean, I know, I
I
know.
mean, that's just across the board, anything Ohio State.
I know, but I do.
But
If I'm,
I will
yeah,
keep my eyes on them. I will keep my eyes on them.
I just think the difference of like the bigs. I think that having at least one absolute wrecking ball in the middle of a big is going to be the
Yeah.
answer. You know,
Well, the biggest
um,
problem in basketball right now is that we're prepping into March Madness and Unrivaled is still going. So I just need more hours in the day.
I know
Need to shift all my eyes to bracket prep.
bracket prep, but let's do 1 minute on Unrivaled. Um, there are a
How
couple people going straight into this WNBA season that was on nobody's real
yeah,
radar or talking about
yeah.
that are just launching themselves into their season in a really cool way. Azure Stevens and Aaliyah Edwards.
But what I want to watch is they've been on the small court, different rules, faster paced game. They got to go back to their home teams, and they're gonna be like, "This court is huge. I'm exhausted. Why are
Yeah.
there so many people on the court?"
Oh my God, it's so true. They just like pass the ball and they're like, well, not you. I only
Yeah.
need three players. I just need two other
Take
teammates.
a seat, ladies. Yeah.
They're calling plays where two people just go to the edge of the court. You guys stay out here and we're just gonna run around.
But what a time to be alive. I'm loving this. Champagne problems.
Yeah. The did you like the one-on-one?
Loved.
Yeah,
Loved. I didn't get anything done.
I know.
That's all I did.
It's so yeah. And Nafisa, her journey has been real incredible.
What a
She has
what a
played
talent.
basically not second fiddle, but I mean, all those years at UConn, Stewart was the star, just so steady. And to see her just every
Ah,
year, oh, hold on, let me also have a baby. Hold on,
yeah.
let me also create a league outside the WNBA. I mean,
And then
she
win 1v1.
and
But then on
then
top
win
of that, like
1v1.
holding records back the with like, jump ball turnover, like whatever. She's phenomenal. She made me a huge Lunar Owls fan. Yeah, I am. I'm even kind of loving Minnesota because of her.
Yeah.
She's unbelievable.
Her
Unbelievable.
style, that turnaround and fade is like that
Yeah.
move is unguardable. And it's
Yeah.
so pretty. It's like beautiful basketball. When I was at Unrivaled, I was like, I went there on a Friday, had a show on a Saturday. There's not a bad seat in the house. So, and I was, getting the ticket as they were announcing the league, so I had like I was literally right there taking photos and I was just like, oh my God, I felt like I was playing. And like Nafisa comes out and she has this presence where I mean, they're all like, but
Yeah.
she really like, she's incredible. So yeah, I
Yeah.
can't wait for it all. Dawn Staley,
Don Staley with the world's longest book title.
hit it.
I can't wait to read it, but I feel like it's going to take me days just to get through the title.
We have time. Go for it.
Okay, but I have to use the cheat sheet. Uncommon favor. Great start. Basketball, North Philly, my mother, and the life lessons I learned from all three. Done. I'm gonna read it, but where was the editor on this title?
Idols now, I feel like they're so long. It's like a Fiona Apple album. Like it's just like it keeps going and it just keeps going.
But that said, does she have cheesesteak recommendations in the North Philly portion? Like, I'm down for everything she has to talk about.
Everything.
All of it.
Yeah. If it could have been like Dawn Staley, 3 ways to assemble patio furniture. And I'd be like, okay.
Well, she's a smart lady.
Well, I'm like, I'll get that. And then life lessons from basketball while assembling patio furniture. Yes. Yes.
I'm here for every single page. Her life lessons have got to be effective. Look at where she is. And I mean, if there's a chapter about her being a style icon, I'm there. The fact that she wears those little kid bracelets like Taylor Swift had, but makes them look couture. Yeah, I will
So
listen to your life lessons, coach. You got me.
every time I see her, I'm like, could I wear that? And then I go, no, I
No,
can't. But the
you're like,
bracelets in particular, I was like, I feel like I could rock those. And then I remember asking my partner, Sarah, I was like, do you think I should get like some of those like cool bracelets? She was like,
no.
she was like, she goes, isn't that for like 20 somethings? And yeah, I go, Dawn Staley wears them. She's,
Yeah, listen.
I'm not as cool as Dawn Staley.
Well, who
Close
is?
second.
Who
Close
is?
second. We're gonna get the book and then we're gonna both read it and we're gonna come back and then talk about
Yeah,
the book. How does that sound?
listen, I'm all for a book club.
Um, she won. Okay, 30 more seconds. Will she ever coach in the WNBA?
Yes. Yeah. Yes,
Hmm.
because I'm manifesting. This is based on nothing. I'm manifesting. I would like to see her
I would
at the
too.
W.
Yeah.
She's got this. She's still got some business to take care of. South Carolina. But I wouldn't mind seeing her. But this said, and this is not to detour. Lisa Leslie better fucking coach before anybody else gets hired.
Oh,
I'm angry. I'm angry, and that's my rant. I don't
yeah.
even need to go on any further.
Okay, 30 more seconds. This is what I said I would not do, Molly. But um, I interviewed Sue Wicks, one of the NBA all-time great, at New York Liberty, 5 years ago. And she was, when I asked her, I said, what's like her biggest nemesis, back in the day? And she said, Lisa Leslie. She was the toughest. She had all the shots. She would just bulldoze you and just like, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Lisa Leslie. So then
She
cut
is
to,
women's basketball.
she is women's basketball. And also she's like mentoring Angel Reese. And I love like her bluntness. She's just like, well, she's got to learn how to shoot, and you're like, wait, what? Like she's like,
I
we're
was like,
working on her shot. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so awesome. This is why this bubble of Unrivaled is so great.
ah,
Angel Reese gets like mentorship from Lisa Leslie. I mean, it's so full circle amazing.
again, what a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. Okay. here we're doing, we're going to do some soccer and then end with
Yeah,
Mikaela Shiffrin, who I am obsessed with. Okay.
love
She
it.
Believes Cup. I'm getting on, not getting on a train, doing the train tomorrow. I am jumping in my friend's car, going down to San Diego for the final of the She Believes Cup later
Yeah.
today. USA versus Japan, crushing it in our first two games. USA Colombia 2-0. Then we beat Australia 2-1. A couple of news things that pop out. Um, in the Australia match, our second match, Emma Hayes replaced all 11 starters, which is like, wow.
Right.
We have some good players. Can
What I
you
got some,
imagine the entire team? Just okay, you guys sit out. No, you guys
but
get
I want to be the towel lady behind that bench as they're like, none of us are playing. Just quietly handing towels, listening to the pent up rage that is building on the bench.
it's pretty incredible that you can replace your entire starting 11 just to see how people are doing on the field.
Yeah, deep bench, deep bench.
Deep bench. A couple highlights that just pop out in my mind are in the Columbia match, Ali Sentnor from Utah Royals. Banger of a shot. I mean, it was her first goal, her first cap. It was so exciting. I was like welled up in happiness. And then all I can think of, Molly, is her last name is Sentnor, right? Sentnor, that I wanted the internet to put, and maybe it'll happen based on this video, her head on a centaur and have the centaur kicking the ball in from midfield.
Her head on top of another head?
No,
Is
her head on top.
just okay,
She
just in
is the
place
she
of
is the
the
head of the centaur.
well, listen, AI exists. People, you heard the woman, you know what to do. Make them, post them, tag her.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. I'm just obsessed.
we want to see.
Um,
We'll share the artwork.
um, okay. I want to get your opinion on this. And then Columbia players, their federation, which is just made up of a bag of shit. That's my professional opinion. They're paying their
Yeah.
players $80. $80 to play the game. Our base was 8,000 and we win if we won, which we did, we get a $10,000 bonus. So our kids are bringing home 18 grand and the Columbia players who are fantastic, $80.
I mean, my overall takeaway is everybody is underpaid, period. But
Absolutely.
$80 is a slap in the face. I don't know what gas or petrol or whatever they call it in gasolina in Colombia costs, but like you're not getting to the game. You can't get to the game and back
Yeah.
for that sort
It's
of thing. It's insane. It's insulting, and we've come so far, and we have so far to go.
yeah. I
Right,
just
Columbia, now you know what to do. It's riot time.
Julie Foudy, who I just absolutely love as an announcer. I think not
Yes,
only she's just like one of the best soccer players of all time, it doesn't mean you're going to be a good announcer. And I think she's one of the best.
agreed.
Her taking that moment in that broadcast to bring light to that situation, I thought was absolutely fantastic. And it wasn't to like, you know, crap on Columbia and their federation. But it was just to bring more awareness of like, hey, listen, like rising tides lift all boats. Like let's
Yeah.
go. I mean, this happens in Africa, it happens in South America. I mean, we just started paying our women a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? So it's not, but it was shocking in a way because all we have is the American perspective of like working so hard and then we're achieving it, still a long way to go. But then you're
Mhm.
like, oh my God, $80.
$80, you're lucky to get time off of work from the other job you
Yeah.
obviously have to have to
Yeah.
go play
Yeah.
for $80. Yeah, and Foudy, I mean, this is how things change. You talk
Yeah.
about it, create awareness, and sports gods willing, things change.
Yeah. And I'm also like, don't these, I'm sure all the entire Columbia Federation in charge is all men. Do they have daughters? Does anybody have a daughter that would like to play and be an equal member of society? Like, I think about this today in politics, and I'll stop right after this, but like,
Yeah.
any of these, insanely far right Republicans, do they have women in their lives? Do they look at their wife, I guess, as as an item? Do they have a daughter who would like to have any
When
autonomy or success in life?
when you're suppressing every woman in a 2-foot radius in your
Yeah.
house, and then everybody that you can control in the world. I mean, we could go on and
Yeah,
on about
it's
that.
just I just I was thinking about Colombia. I'm like $80. I'm like, that's they have dads that I'm sure are in charge because it's such a, again, very
You can't buy the
Hispanic
merch at a
sexist. Yeah.
yeah. You can't buy the merch at the stadium for $80.
You can't buy a t-shirt for $80.
Which is also an issue, but I
Okay.
digress.
All right. Last piece is we're facing Japan. Japan can win the She Believes Cup if they win or tie based on goal differential because they've been scoring a ton of goals. So Emma Hayes has a decision to make. Does she keep testing all these new players or do we go out there to play to win? For me, win. I'm
Wouldn't
putting
that
my
be
I'm putting my all-stars in.
yeah.
Who are
Maybe she
you?
do a half and half.
No, Molly.
I don't know. She's not to be
I'm
I
kidding.
mean, I love her, but is she's not to be trusted? I don't know.
Not to be trusted. She's the best thing that's happened to U.S. soccer in like 500 years.
Oh,
Um, just for nerds, real quick, this is who I'm playing. Campbell in goal, Fox, Sonnet. I'm taking out Makion and I'm putting either in Sam's or Davidson. I'm going to
okay.
start Night Swanger, but then Dunn, or maybe start Dunn, bring in Night Swanger, depending upon Dunn fitness level. In the midfield, we're doing Coffee Heaps, Johannes, Yasmin Ryan up front, Setnor, and Macario. There it is. Those are my start. That's my starting 11.
Get that centaur. Well, how do you blend those
Centaur,
words? Yeah.
Centaur, Centaur,
Mm, cent-
Centaur.
Regardless, we need t-shirts. I
I'm just
want
saying,
flags,
like, if
banners.
I was Ali Centaur and someone sent me that type of merch, I'd be like, this is the greatest thing ever.
She is kind of a Greek god,
This
you know.
is the type of reporting people are clamoring for. Okay, feel good moment of the
Right.
week. Mikaela
Ooh, I'm ready. I'm
Shiffrin.
ready.
What a dream. 100th World Cup victory. Let's get into this. This woman, we're not even we're celebrating her 100th victory, making her the winningest alpine skier in our history, winning all 6 World Cups disciplines. Slalom, giant slalom, super G, downhill combined in parallel. I don't even know what half these are. I mean,
I don't know. I'm ready for tiny slalom. Can't we have both? She'll dominate regardless.
it's just like 3 little poles and then you're done.
Oh, but I mean, she is. She's incredible.
Yeah.
Go on, because I know you can go on about her. She's
Well,
incredible.
no, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this because if that's not impressive enough, if you don't know the story, she had a horrible, absolute, what everyone possibly speculated as a career ending injury in November, which was what, 3 months ago,
Yeah.
tore her oblique. And so she had to physically come back from all of that. So then she's in an event a couple weeks ago. It was the same event. I don't know. I don't know if it was the slalom or the super G or whatever. Um, and she couldn't, and she's going for her 100th, so it's getting all this press. And she took herself out of the race, and she said and she was so wonderful about her saying her mental and physical health. Like she had PTSD from that race before, and she
Yeah.
had to remove herself out of the race. And I watched an interview, and she said, when my mind says go, my body won't. And I
Listen,
was,
that's
yeah,
brave. That is so brave. I
yeah,
mean, if we learned anything from Simone Biles, who's like, listen, all of you jump around, you like hurt yourself and go back in. No big deal. I'm upside down. I could die. I have
yeah,
a panic attack midair. I could die. This is the same sort of thing.
yeah.
When you're going, I mean, how fast is she going down this hill?
I clocked it 275 miles an hour.
That sounds right. That sounds right. It's too dangerous. But in all seriousness, no, it is brave to do that.
Very
And that's
fast.
what
Yeah,
makes her an elite
yeah.
athlete is to know your boundaries and to say when is too far. Because that's what, when she chooses to come back out, that's what's gonna get her next medals.
Yeah. I
I'm
just
proud of her.
thought I just thought first of all, I have to check the speed because that just watching skiing is like harrowing. Do you
Yeah.
remember growing up like it was um this is when I was real this is a kid and I'm older than you, so you don't probably I don't know if you'll remember that it was the wide world of sports and
Yes.
it was the thrill of
Yellow
victory and
jackets.
the
Yes.
agony of defeat, and you see that skier just
Yeah.
like basically I don't know if he ever there was no follow up. You know, I don't know if he ever walked again, but like that's what I think about when that was like my that burned an impression on me of what skiing was. These just fearless people going down. I don't know. Am I making up a number? 60, 70, 80 miles an hour? I
I
mean, I
mean,
don't know what it is, but it's insane speeds.
I sneezed 2 days ago and couldn't walk. I mean, to have like a potential career-ending injury and then still go back out there later, like yeah, they're
Yeah. But I want to say this. She could have said to the media, I'm still recovering from my injury. And everyone's like, oh, yeah. I mean, God, it could take another 6, 8 months. You know, she's just like, but she stood up and said, I can't do this right now because I have PTSD. My
yeah,
mind wants to go. My body can't. It's in fear. I fear it. And like to me, that one, like getting goosebumps, like what she did for like every athlete, putting herself in that vulnerable of position to get
yeah,
criticized, to get whatever. Um, she not only did that for herself, she did that for like every female and male athlete that are coming back from an injury or that just have fear when they start a race, and that's okay.
yeah, it is. It is a feel-good moment.
I just I think she's just like the one obviously one of the most incredible female athletes, doesn't matter what sport is. She's got to be, I would argue, top 10 greatest female athletes of all time. And it's weird to like compare disciplines, you know, like skiing versus basketball or
Yeah,
whatever. But how she's handled herself throughout her entire career and then just adding this and then being so open about her physical and mental health. And then she gets like 2 weeks later gets the 100th
yeah,
victory. I'm like, I can't.
yeah.